Hi, and welcome to Healthier with Natural Medicine, the course. This is Dr. Harlan Mittag. You can think of me as your tour guide as you travel along this 9-step path to better health. You may be asking yourself, why even bother doing some stupid health course that takes so much time and energy, costs money, makes you do things you don't want to do, like eating vegetables and exercising? The answer? It works. You'll feel better, and you're much more likely to live a healthier, longer life if you do. If that's not enough of a reward for you, then you're probably in the wrong place. And by the way, natural medicine can work along with traditional medicine, so it's not one or the other. You can do both and benefit from both at the same time. We're going to start the actual health journey in the next video lesson. In the rest of this lesson, I'd like to discuss the process of how we get healthier or sicker, how we can improve our health or make ourselves sicker. It's basic stuff, but it's worth going over because it's not obvious to most of us. And having an understanding of how we really can move towards a state of greater health and away from increased risk of illness can motivate us to take action. That's the purpose of this lesson, to motivate you to take action. How most of us see health and illness. Here's how most of us see health and illness. It's black and white. We're up here in the flowering meadow, healthy and strong. We don't even give a thought to illness or disease, except when it happens to someone else. For ourselves, we feel invincible. Then we begin to experience some symptoms. We go to the doctor and we're told that we have a disease. Or alternatively, we have symptoms, go to the doctor and are told there is nothing wrong with us. Nevertheless, we tend to see health and illness as two distinct, separate states. It's black and white. We tend to see getting an illness as falling off of a cliff, like this one. We were somehow healthy, and then just like that, without any warning, we got ill, as if it happened overnight. Then if we fall off of that cliff that is disease, we become disabled. We're loaded with medications and we still continue to decline, instead of moving back in the other direction, towards feeling really healthy. Often, this progression to chronic illness occurs throughout the course of a lifetime, over the span of decades. But it can be much faster, taking only a few years or even months, depending on the circumstances and the illness. The point is that most of us start out feeling healthy and feeling good, so we don't pay much attention to our health. It's only when we begin to experience symptoms that we even begin to think of our health. And even then, many of us seek simple remedies in the form of a pill rather than looking to change our habits and build our health back. In part, we don't really appreciate or understand that we can do things to rebuild our health, even when we are over here in the orange or red zone. Or if we do know that there are things that we can do to rebuild our health, we just don't know how to do it. Here's a sinkhole at the bottom of a hill. The tendency over time, if you were up here on the side of the hill, is to slide down the hill into the sinkhole. This sinkhole represents any disease. Before we end up in the hole, we often have symptoms that are a warning that we're getting close to the sinkhole. Up here on the hillside, we're healthy, but if we're not careful and don't pay attention, or don't take care of ourselves, we're liable to slide back this way towards symptoms and then disease. The reality is that gravity is always pulling us down the hill, so we need to be doing something to move up the hill, away from the sinkhole, all of the time. And this is my main point with all of this, is in this day and age, in the world we're living in, we are all sliding down the hill. Health is no longer assured. We have to constantly work to improve our health. I want to continue this sinkhole analogy just a little bit longer. Here's Mabel standing at the edge of the sinkhole. She's having symptoms. Mabel is determined not to end up in that hole. She feels tired a lot of the time, her digestion is off, and she's gained some weight that she can't get rid of. She's been to her doctor, and her doctor says that she's just getting old. She is told that her lab results are essentially normal, quote unquote, for her age. Her cholesterol is a little high, and so is her blood pressure. So her doctor warns her that she needs to eat better and exercise more, or she'll have to go on some medications to get things in line. Here's another way to picture Mabel's situation. In this graphic, she's not on an incline, so she's not sliding down an incline towards the sinkhole. Instead, we'll say that there are a number of invisible forces that are pushing Mabel towards the sinkhole here on the right. What are these invisible forces that are pushing Mabel towards the sinkhole? There might be stress, feelings of being overwhelmed or unable to cope with life's demands, lack of a sense of purpose in life. There might be insomnia. Not sleeping well prevents our body, especially the brain, from cleansing itself and rejuvenating itself each night. Mabel may have chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation is now recognized as a major contributing factor in most chronic diseases, including autoimmune diseases, neurodegenerative diseases, and even conditions like type 2 diabetes and cancer. Another factor might be a bad diet, one that is low in omega-3 fatty acids or high in reactive foods, one that is low in phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Another factor could be dysbiosis, an imbalance in the microbes in the gut. Yet another factor could be Mabel's toxic burden, the amount of toxins in her body. Mabel might also be having an overreactive immune system. She could also be lacking exercise and fresh air. There are so many things that might be going on with Mabel that weren't tested or identified by the doctor, and these are things that Mabel can address and begin to turn her health around and get away from that sinkhole. Mabel could start getting healthier by relieving stress. She could work on getting good sleep. She can start doing things to resolve chronic inflammation. This may mean losing weight with a diet that is tailored to her needs, one that is suited to what is going on in her body. This diet should be high in omega-3 fatty acids, low in immune-reactive foods, high in phytonutrients, vitamins, and minerals. Some other things that Mabel could do to get away from that sinkhole is to normalize her digestion, improve the balance of the microbiome in her gut, detoxify her body of the accumulated toxic burden, and also start getting appropriate exercise, something that she tolerates and enjoys. So there are a lot of things that Mabel can do to get away from that hole. Leaving Mabel behind for a moment, here are all of the ways in which we can move away from an illness sinkhole, further and closer to optimal health. These are the recognized ways that natural medicine now uses, that functional medicine now uses to help people optimize their health. Starting on the top left, we see de-stressing, which is reducing our stress levels, lowering the levels of stress hormones in our body. Chronic stress is now at epidemic levels in our society, and fortunately, it's a contributing factor in many diseases like cancer, diabetes, obesity, autoimmune disease, and more. Then moving to the right, we have sleep. Getting good, healthy, and deep, rejuvenating sleep every night. Every night our brain cleanses itself during deep sleep. If we don't get enough deep sleep, we don't get this rejuvenating cleansing of the brain. Something else that happens during deep sleep is that our pituitary gland secretes HGH, or a human growth hormone. HGH is called the fountain of youth hormone because it stimulates self-repair and rejuvenation of the body. Next, we look at what we call the body's toxic burden. This is the buildup of toxins in our body and how this makes us ill eventually. Our liver, shown here, is our major organ of detoxification. Since the late 1940s, Americans have been bombarded by higher and higher levels of toxins. Toxins cause cancer. There are toxins called diabetogens, which cause type 2 diabetes. Toxins called obesogens cause obesity. Toxins are a contributing factor in neurodegenerative diseases, in autoimmune diseases like Hashimoto's. The list goes on and on. We can begin to help our body deal with toxins by lessening our toxic load. That means reducing our exposure to toxins. One good way to do that is to eat organic. In addition to avoiding toxins, we can help our body to get rid of the toxins that have built up inside of us. Fortunately, there are ways to support the body's detoxification processes and to safely pull toxins out of the body. Then on the bottom left, we have the digestive tract. Here we see the stomach and the intestines. Good digestion is vital if we are to absorb the nutrients that we need from our diet. Next, we have the immune system. I've positioned the immune system close to the gut because 70 to 80% of the immune system is actually situated in the gut. The health of the gastrointestinal system and immune system are intimately related. For instance, the root cause or causes of many autoimmune conditions actually begin in the gut. So in natural medicine, we treat the gut and the immune system together. One of the things we do in this area is to identify and eliminate reactive foods which overstimulate the immune system and cause problems in the body. What we aim for with the immune system is balancing immune function so that the immune system effectively targets and gets rid of foreign invaders, which is its primary job, but so that it doesn't overreact, causing allergies or autoimmune conditions. Down here on the bottom in the center is a gas pump. This represents fueling our body with a good diet that is full of all of the nutrients that we need. Up here at the stomach, we're making sure that our digestive tract is healthy and can digest and absorb our food. Here, we're making sure that our diet has the nutrients that we need and that it doesn't have the things that we don't need or don't want. Then we have exercise, which is represented by this runner. The same type of exercise isn't appropriate for everyone. And there are some relatively new discoveries as to what types of exercise get the best results. So doing the right type of exercise is essential for staying away from the sinkhole. Finally, next to exercise, we have an icon which is supposed to show the profile of someone breathing into their lungs. This represents our breathing, our ability to breathe. Our ability to breathe is very important for our health. The ability to breathe fully, which is what is called our lung capacity, has been found to correlate very strongly with our health and how long we will live. Because breathing is often associated with exercise, you'll see a couple of slides from now that I lump them together in one category, exercise and breathing, but they are actually two separate health promoters. A reasonable question for Mabel to ask is, where do I start? If I'm convinced that I actually can move away from this sinkhole and get better by addressing these issues, where is the best place to begin? Or is there even a best place to start? Does it matter? Can I just start anywhere? This is actually what is happening to most people like Mabel who are interested in natural medicine. They hear about a remedy, say a specific nutrient product that people are making a lot of fuss about. They try it and may or may not experience a benefit, but it doesn't turn them completely around and head them in the opposite direction, away from the sinkhole. Using natural medicine is not as simple as taking a pill or doing a 3-day fast. To really benefit from what natural medicine has to offer us, one needs a coordinated, systematized approach. Doctors who are using a natural medicine approach have, over the past several decades, developed a consensus or agreement on how Mabel should use natural medicine, what she should do first, do second, and so on. It's not to say that all doctors of natural medicine have exactly the same approach. It's more saying that based on the research that has accumulated over the last 40 years, there is general agreement on what works and what order of doing things works best. Here's a visual map of the 9-step healing path that I created to guide my clients. It guides anyone on how to use natural medicine to effectively remedy chronic illnesses. Illnesses such as autoimmune diseases, like hypothyroidism and rheumatoid arthritis, metabolic dysfunctions, and illnesses such as resistance to weight loss, obesity, insulin resistance, type 2 diabetes, and neurodegenerative diseases such as senile dementia. This is a path. It starts on the bottom left. The first level of the path, the first 3 steps, are all part of the evaluation phase of the path. Step 1, which is also called evaluation, is a self-evaluation process that uses questionnaires and symptom inventories to figure out whether any of your body systems or body functions are subpar, that is, are not working as well as they should. In this approach, we don't aim to establish a traditional diagnosis. You may already have a traditional diagnosis, and that is fine. But in our approach, we're trying to identify which body systems and functions are weak or out of balance. For instance, in an illness like type 2 diabetes, a diagnosis of type 2 diabetes establishes that blood sugar regulation is out of control because of insulin resistance. But there are a number of things that contribute to insulin resistance. If we want to remedy insulin resistance by addressing these underlying causes, we need to know what is going on in the body beyond the fact that blood sugar levels are out of control. We do things like looking at the body's toxic load, since toxicity can lead to insulin resistance. We look at digestion, diet, and nutrient levels, since nutrient deficiencies can contribute also to insulin resistance. We look at stress levels, since we know that chronically high levels of stress hormones also contribute to insulin resistance. We look at how healthy your sleep is, since we know that poor sleep quality is a factor in insulin resistance. We look at your immune system, since immune system dysfunction can lead to a body-wide pro-inflammatory state, which in turn leads to insulin resistance. We look at your level of exercise, since lack of exercise is correlated with insulin resistance. In other words, our goal is not to stop looking when there is a diagnosis. We want to identify the underlying contributors to the disease or disease or dysfunction that is resulting in the disease state that is the diagnosed condition. We identify these underlying contributors to body-wide dysfunction in this first phase of evaluation by using questionnaires, as I mentioned before, and also with functional medicine lab testing. I'll talk more about functional medicine lab testing in another lesson, but here I'll just say that this testing goes beyond what is done traditionally. For instance, traditional lab testing doesn't typically look for the level of key nutrients in the body or the function of mitochondria, or whether the immune system is reacting to foods. The last step in the evaluation phase is planning the rest of the 9 steps. This is based on your health history and current symptoms, and based on your lab results. These results determine how you're going to emphasize each of the following 6 steps. Each of the remaining 6 steps focuses on a major body system or function. We talked about this in detail in the last slide. To summarize then, in step 3 of the evaluation phase, we determine which of the remaining 6 steps we're going to focus on the most. After completing the evaluation phase, we move into the recovery phase. This is where we help our body to get back on its feet, figuratively speaking. The recovery phase begins with de-stressing. Most of us have no idea how damaging chronic stress is to our body. Whenever we're stressed, our body stops repairing itself and uses up its reserves of energy and nutrients. If we're chronically stressed, it's like drawing funds out of your savings account and then using credit cards to pay your bills. It can't be sustained. Chronic stress contributes to all of the major chronic illnesses that we Americans experience today. So in step 4, we get chronic stress under control. Chronic stress is a major cause of insomnia, but there are other things that we can do besides helping our stress to improve our sleep. In step 5, we make sure that we're getting really healthy sleep every night. In step 6, we address imbalances in both the digestive and immune systems. We seek to restore balance and health to the microbiome. We repair leaky guts. We make sure that food is being digested fully and that nutrients that we need can be effectively absorbed into our body. Then we work on the immune system, 70% of which lies within the walls of the intestines. We make sure that the immune system is not overreacting or causing allergies or autoimmune conditions. We also make sure that the immune system has the resources it needs to effectively fight off infections. Again, this second tier is the recovery phase of our 9-step path. Going through these 3 steps, de-stressing, getting healthy sleep, and restoring gut health and immune balance, are the beginning foundational steps for healing. Without de-stressing, the body will continue to decline. Without healthy sleep, the body can't restore and rejuvenate itself each night. Without healthy digestion and immune function, the body can't get the energy and nutrients it needs and can't protect itself effectively. If the immune system can't protect us, is overreacting to the environment, or is mistakenly attacking our own tissues and organs, we can't be healthy. This recovery phase is where we start building back our health from a state of illness. Or if we're just trying to reduce our risk of disease, this recovery phase is where we build a solid foundation for ongoing health and longevity. From the recovery phase, we move to tier 3, which is the rejuvenation and regeneration phase. In this phase, we remove the remaining obstacles to letting our body really restore itself. The rejuvenation phase starts with detoxification in step 7. Over years and decades, living in the environment that we do, every one of us accumulates toxins in their body. Toxins build up within us because the body's detoxification systems are chronically overburdened and unable to keep up. Detoxification requires preparing our detoxification system for a detox. Then, we stimulate the release of toxins from the body's tissues, particularly from our fat stores, and the toxins are processed and eliminated. In step 8, we focus on establishing a healthy diet. We've already eliminated much of what is unhealthy in our diets in steps 4 through 7. So here we really focus on maximizing our nutrition. For most people, this includes a few nutritional supplements, depending on their personal health history and family genetic history. There are certain supplements that are too valuable to ignore when it comes to preserving our energy levels and health. In step 8, we focus on which of these will be most profitable for you. In step 8, we also focus on fasting techniques. Fasting is an invaluable tool for maintaining one's health, and it doesn't have to be a miserable experience that one dreads. There are ways to fast that make it easy to get the health benefits of fasting without feeling like you are starving yourself. Then in step 9, we focus on exercise and breathing. We all understand the importance of exercise. Not everyone knows how to get the most health benefit out of exercise. In this step, I show you how to exercise to get the maximum health benefits, but still do it in a way that you can enjoy exercising. One of the benefits of exercise is that it improves our lung capacity. There are some other important things to know about breathing and how to improve your breathing to optimize your health. I also go over this important information in Step 9. When you get to Step 9, you have thoroughly revamped your body and your health using the best methods and information that natural medicine or functional medicine has to offer. How long will it take? How long does it take to go through the entire 9-step program? Actually, that can vary. I've set up the program so that you can go through all of the 9 steps in 12 weeks. That's the complete program doing all of the steps. But depending on your health history and your current health status, you may not need to do all of the steps, and this will make the program shorter for you. Or, if you have more serious health issues that you're dealing with, it may be necessary for you to take more time with each of the steps, so the program will take longer than 12 weeks to complete. But the point is that you do it in your own time. Either way, the program is set up to work, no matter how long it takes for you to get through it. Is this program for you? It's a good question. Is this program appropriate for you? First, let me respond in general terms. This program is appropriate for most adults who want to improve their health. That's true if you're generally healthy and just want to regain some of that youthful energy, or if you're suffering from a chronic disease such as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, rheumatoid arthritis, Crohn's disease, a neurodegenerative disease. It's also a good course for anyone who is concerned about their health risks because of their family history and genetics. If you are suffering from a chronic illness right now, I recommend doing this course along with the guidance of a health provider who understands natural or functional medicine. I provide that guidance and support for a number of clients who are using this course. If you're uncertain or have any questions about this course and whether it is appropriate for you, I suggest that you take advantage of my 15-minute complimentary consultation. On the call, I can get to know your health issues, answer any questions that you may have, and tell you if I think this course is appropriate for you. Below or somewhere around this video, you'll find a link or button to an appointment calendar where you can set up a time to talk to me. Or you can use the contact form or chat form, if there is one, to reach out to me and ask any questions that you have. Either way, don't hesitate to reach out and let me know what you need. Depending on your age, you may or may not be familiar with Popeye the Sailor. Whenever Popeye needed superhuman strength to save the day, he downed a can of spinach. That spinach immediately revitalized him, giving him the super strength that he needed. I don't know what the planning or intent behind the Popeye cartoon was, but I suspect it had something to do with getting kids to eat healthy foods. We really don't appreciate the benefit of eating in healthy ways. For instance, researchers have looked at the effect of eating spinach on the elasticity of arteries and on blood pressure. In this study, they had study participants eat a bowl of spinach soup every day for 1 week, just 1 week. Before the study and at the end of the week, the researchers measured the elasticity of the participants' arteries and also their core blood pressure. The researchers found that eating the spinach had significantly improved arterial elasticity, which is a tremendous health benefit, and had also lowered both systolic and diastolic blood pressure. My point here is that anything and everything that you do in the direction of natural health on this path is beneficial to your health. So please don't put off starting to walk down this healing path of natural medicine. And if you really want to put natural medicine to work for you, get into this 9-step program. Even after a week or two of working on this path, of walking down this path, you'll begin to experience results. You'll begin to experience better. And that will be the motivation, the gas you need to continue down it and get really good results.